What is up, guys? It is Denby Plays. Today we're going to be discussing my new series of What If for Star Wars. And this episode will be about what if Ahsoka never left the Order. Now, you guys may know, if you guys have ever watched Clone Wars, Ahsoka left the Order because she was wronged. She was accused of killing people in the hangar with bombs used from nanotech, and her rank was taken away, all her privileges was taken away. She was put in a jail cell until further mandate, and then she found out that her friend Barriss Offee was a Sith, and she was taken into custody. And when the council asked her to come back, she was a Jedi Knight at the time because they granted her the rank of Jedi Knight, and then she just left because Mace Windu said some stuff. And then she left, and she gave Anakin her goodbyes, and she walked off the temple to where she found Rafa Martinez and that other one in season 7. And then we go into Rebels after she goes into hiding for a couple years. And then we meet the clones and everyone. And then she ends up being in The Mandalorian. And then in Boba Fett. So, yeah, that's pretty much her whole entire story, I guess, of what happened to her during Order 66 and after Order 66. But we don't know how she dies, because we hear her voice when Rey is asking the Jedi to be with her. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. If Ahsoka Tano, the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker, known as one of the best Jedi in the galaxy, never left the Order, she would have accepted her role back as not a Padawan this time, but a Jedi Knight. Only because she had attended the trial at which her friend Barriss was sent to death, or put in prison because of the bombing in the building's hangar. We would fast forward a couple years into the future, so that we can get to the point. Ahsoka is now a Jedi Knight, and is in a mission briefing with Master Skywalker and Master Kenobi. Master Kenobi says I must leave now to help those Mandalorians take the planet of Mandalore back. Skywalker then says we have more important matters to attend to at the moment. The Chancellor has been taken by General Grievous, which he remarks, "Hey Snips, you want to come along?" Ahsoka then replies with, "Yes, Master, but only because you may need some assistance." Obi-Wan says, "I am ready to go to Mandalore to observe the planet for myself. I also need a fraction of the 501st Anakin." Anakin says that is fine with me, and he asks, "Who do you need?" Obi-Wan would then say, "I may need Captain Vaughn with the rest of the troops." Ahsoka then says, what if me and Anakin had the 332nd with the help of Captain Rex? And you, Master Kenobi, can have the 501st at your will." Obi-Wan then protests, but Anakin thinks it's a great idea. Anakin and Ahsoka then set out to General Grievous' dreadnought. They entered space, and many of the men who fought in space perished, one almost being Rex, but Ahsoka had his rear. Jesse, one of Rex's men, was shot down. Anakin and Ahsoka entered the dreadnought, and the droids entered the hangar bay. R2 hopped out of the tiny compartment in Anakin's ship, and Anakin and his Padawans slayed droids left and right with no fear or hesitation. Anakin and Ahsoka reach the elevator shaft and enter, while Anakin says, "R2, we need to be going up." Without even a thought, he went up. Some droids entered the hangar with R2. 2 super battle droids, using their droid communication, heard R2's comm channel through his body. When the droids found R2 lit them up like a candle with the oil he had installed in his system just before the battle. Anakin and Ahsoka found the Chancellor in the upper levels of the ship. Next to the Chancellor was Count Dooku, a separatist taken control by the Master of the Sith. Dooku then says, "Your swords, please, Master Jedi. We don't want to make a mess of things in front of the Chancellor." Ahsoka then says with a spark of hope, "We can beat him, Sky Guy." which Anakin then says, "My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count." Dooku says, "Good, twice the pride, double the fall." Ahsoka then pursues Dooku and gets a hint of Force lightning from Dooku's hand. Anakin in anger pursues the Sith Lord and attacks with his Form 5 lightsaber post. Dooku counterattacks with Form 2. Dooku in the middle of the fight says, "I sense great fear in you, Skywalker. You have hate, you have anger, but you don't use them." Anakin pushes Dooku away and blasts him forward with a blast of the Force, and uses his lightsaber to chop it off his hands. Dooku is almost lifeless, kneeling on the floor and waiting for his final moments to end. The Chancellor says, "Good, Anakin, good. Kill him. Kill him now." Anakin then slides the blades between Dooku's head, beheading him. Anakin then unstraps the Chancellor from his chair. Palpatine says, "You did well, Anakin. He was too dangerous to be kept alive." Anakin then says, "I shouldn't have done that, Chancellor. It's not the Jedi way." The Chancellor then said, "It's only natural. He cut off your arm, and you wanted revenge. It's not the first time, Anakin. Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand people? Now we must leave before more security droids arrive." Anakin stops over to see if Ahsoka's alright. Anakin says, "No broken bones and breathing's alright." The Chancellor promptly states, "Leave her or we'll never make it." Anakin states her fate will be just like ours. Anakin, Ahsoka on his back, and the Chancellor following behind him. While they were in the elevator shaft just a while later, Ahsoka woke up from the pain that had just been admitted from her before. Ahsoka screamed in fear as she was upside down in the elevator shaft, on Anakin's back. The Chancellor also wasn't having the best time in his life after hanging off Anakin's boot. They finally got out of the elevator and the three get stuck in a ray shield by Grievous. As this is happening, R2 is wheeling away from the droidicas behind him into the room where the three were. They were brought to General Grievous's room, where the droids were flying the ship as they entered the room. General Grievous said, "Ah, the youngling caretaker that I could have killed on Florum." He also said, "And Anakin Skywalker, I was expecting someone with your reputation to be a little older." And then Anakin said, "General Grievous, Supreme Commander of the droid armies, you're shorter than I expected." Ahsoka then said, "Master, I think we shouldn't criticize him anymore." Then the two sought a plan to escape. R2 confused Grievous and Anakin and Ahsoka got the lightsabers back. Grievous, as a coward he hid behind his Magna Guards as they got dismembered by Ahsoka's green blades. Grievous escaped by throwing a Magna Guard saber at the glass, breaking it. The two used the Force to seal it from the outside, allowing them to breathe. Anakin was an excellent pilot, but this time it was falling down to Coruscant. So, he had to take action as quickly as possible. He got hold of the ship and broke the runway and broke a tower along with it. As soon as it ended, Anakin has called to the Jedi Temple. It was Obi-Wan. He was on the planet Mandalore securing the main part of the city. He said he sensed Maul in Mandalore. He said he even had confirmation from Malmec as he was assassinated by Gar Saxon. He said his goodbyes to his master because he was summoned to the council for a meeting. The council meeting was just about to start, and he was going to aid the planet. Yoda was summoned to the Kashyyyk. Master Mundi was summoned to Maigito, Ayla to Felucia, Master Plo to Kino Nemoida, and Master Ali went to Seleucami. The council told Anakin right away that Anakin was tasked with spying on the Chancellor, and Ahsoka had to go help him with that. Anakin didn't take much pride in spying on the Chancellor, but he did it, and so did Ahsoka. While this was happening on Mandalore, Obi-Wan was in the sewer system on Mandalore. Obi-Wan was tracking the Mandalorians in the system, and Kenobi turned a corner in the pipe and saw most of his platoon dead in the system. Then about 15 Mandalorians stormed the pipe, and he was trapped. Maul was ominous, looking at Obi-Wan. Maul looking like he had seen someone else, Maul looking like he was looking for someone else, as if he had seen them before. Maul then said, I have waited years for this, Kenobi. Where is your apprentice? Kenobi says, he is far away from here. What is your need with him? Maul states, your apprentice is a part of a plan with the Sith Lord, Sidious. Kenobi asks, who is the Sith Lord? What is his name? Maul replies, have you heard of Chancellor Palpatine? Obi-Wan nervously says yes. Maul a few moments later knocks out Kenobi back on Coruscant. Anakin is is in Chancellor Palpatine's office with his Padawan outside. Palpatine is talking about how with the power of the Force that he can save his wife. At some point, the Chancellor says, "Only through me can you achieve a power greater than any Jedi. Learn to know the dark side of the Force, Anakin, and you will be able to save your wife from certain death." Anakin then says, "You're the Sith Lord." Anakin ignites his lightsaber, and Ahsoka outside the door hears it. Ahsoka busts the door open to reveal Anakin's glowing lightsaber. Ahsoka says, "Master, what are you doing?" Anakin then says he is the Sith Lord and must be stopped. Anakin tells Ahsoka to go signal Master Windu about the Sith Lord. Master Kenobi wakes up. He's in a familiar place. Now he remembers he's in a Mandalorian castle, where his lover Satine Kryze was killed, and he sees Maul in the chair, that chair where his loved one used to sit. He stands up and ignites his lightsaber. Maul does the same. Kenobi uses his master's Form 2. Maul uses Form 7. Kenobi then switches to Form 3, and they clash. Kenobi gets a lucky slash down the chest, and Kenobi sits down with Maul, who is now dying in his arms. Maul says, "Is he really the chosen one?" Kenobi says yes, and Maul says, "He will avenge us." Master Windu shows up with Agen Calder, Kit Fisto, Saci Tin, Anakin, and Ahsoka, and Sidious was in his chair backwards. Palpatine says, "Execute Order 66. Little did the Jedi know that Fibes was right. Obi-Wan enters the cruiser with clones. He is preparing to put his ship into hyperspace. He then hears a strange but familiar voice come over the comms. It was Chancellor Palpatine. As he had turned out, he was hit with visions before him about younglings, Jedi Knights, and Masters being killed. It was the very thing that was supposed to protect them, the clones. Kenobi saw Cody holding his helmet in his arms. Kenobi asked what was going on. Cody drops his helmet on the ground. Cody replies, "I'll do it." Cody then says, "Stay back!" with a sense of anger and sadness in his voice. Cody fires the first shot, and then multiple troops open fire on Kenobi, who escaped through the vent. Master Windu says, "In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you are under arrest, Chancellor." Windu ignites his lightsaber, it glowing dark purple. The other Jedi ignite their lightsabers. Palpatine then says, "It's treason then." Palpatine ignites his bright red lightsaber. Palpatine uses the Force to project a flip forward towards the Jedi. They all presume their forms as Master Windu counterattacks and pushes Palpatine with the Force, with Anakin on the left and Ahsoka on the right. The other remaining Jedi were in the middle of battle. Sidious slashes Agen Kohler down the middle, making a painful scream. The next to die would be Saci Tin, whose arms were dismembered and separated from his body with another painful scream. Kit Fisto gets his lightsaber blade to the chest, and he screams. Anakin then force throws Palpatine, who shatters the glass on the way to the window. Sidious flies to the window, but uses the Force to land. Anakin, Ahsoka, and Windu follow him. There are clones on the street, turning others away from the building. The clones then fire shots at Ahsoka, who disarms them and decapitates them. Master Windu gets a Force lightning pass towards him, but then he blocks it with his lightsaber. Anakin joins them and uses the Force to subdue Sidious. As he is doing this, Anakin says, "I followed you as a young boy, and you tried to turn me over to the dark side. And for what? And now you will die." Sidious, trying to breathe, says, "Pitiful Jedi, you don't know about my plan for the future. I will live on and strike fear into the hearts of the galaxy." Master Windu then says, "Anakin, end this." Anakin replies, "With pleasure." Anakin snaps his neck. Obi-Wan is almost to Coruscant. He can almost see the planet. Cody is in a room looking for Kenobi, and Kenobi jumps down from the ventilation shaft and knocks Cody out. Kenobi operates the machine but cannot find the chip in his brain. He then uses the Force to find the chip and uses the Force to guide the machine. The clones start to open the door and Kenobi gets the chip out of his head. The clones open the door and Kenobi gets shot in the shoulder. Someone opens fire behind him. It is Cody. He had awoken from what he called the nightmare. Anakin went back to the Chancellor's office. He found two dead Jedi, but Kit Fisto was up and staggering to keep himself up like an old man. But Anakin realized he has a hole in his chest. One of his lungs were penetrated by the lightsaber, but he was still alive. Anakin, Ahsoka, and Mace Windu healed Master Fisto with the power of the Force. He was once breathing as well as ever. Obi-Wan was on Coruscant, and the clones on the Venator all rushed after him and Cody. They ran into the city, all the clones shot at them. They were running to the Chancellor's office to stop him. When they got there, he found Anakin, Ahsoka, Master Windu, Master Fisto, and 2 Jedi Knights. Kenobi asked, "Where is the Chancellor?" Master Windu states Skywalker killed him. Palpatine said he had a plot to destroy the Jedi. Obi-Wan said he knew only because he saw everything. Yoda arrived at the Senate building and saw the atrocities. The other Jedi were at the temple and just sent a message to the remaining Jedi to trust in the Force. Clones were in the upper level of the buildings, tried to kill most of the Jedi, but they only had blasters. Anakin found a form of younglings in the upper levels hiding from the clones, and Anakin assured them that they were safe. Anakin and Ahsoka checked the upper levels for more clones, and found a whole platoon of clones. Ahsoka disarmed a clone and stabbed him through the chest. Anakin force-choked an entire room of them, and after they killed almost all the clones in the building, Anakin got word that Padme was going to give birth, and Anakin was going to show up. They were on Polis Massa, and Anakin was just in time. Ahsoka and the rest of the Jedi were ashamed of Anakin for breaking the code, and he would be suspended from the Order after this. Anakin agreed and joined Padme in the room. Padme gave birth to a boy, who she named Luke, and a girl who Anakin named Leia. After the operation, Ahsoka was sad to know that Anakin would be suspended from the Order, and would not be able to come back after that. But Ahsoka would learn from this, and become a greater Jedi.